this your dog?
Oh my God. Oh, I have to pay you. Thank you so much.
Are you serious?
And how's everything in the dog kidnapping business?
Did you get a new dog?
Where were you walking him, Charisse?
I always loved Bonnie like he was my own child.
1, I do not want that image in my head. 2, could you go get my dog back?
Seven Psychopaths. I am joined not by my regular cast of psychopaths, but just by Michelle here today.
Hello.
And of course, I'm Aaron, as you all know. And we were talking about the new film that has come out by the director of In Bruges, Seven Psychopaths, which I got to see a few days ago. It's a film about a screenplay writer who is trying to write a film called Seven Psychopaths, which is, super meta. It's him trying to write this film that is just a collection of short stories about different psychopaths. And then he tries to merge them all together into one thing. And as he's writing this, slowly what he's writing becomes real. Like, he's taking inspiration from real life, so things from the real life go into his story, but then things that he wrote in the story come to life in reality, or things that, are hinted at being in someone's version of the story comes to life in reality. It's one of those films in which the guy writing the actual movie is writing about himself writing the movie inside the movie. It's an Inception kind of movie.
So many layers.
And honestly, I've only seen this kind of film. This kind of film is attempted by a lot of people, and it's not done very well. I've only seen it done well twice. Adaptation, and this movie, Seven Psychopaths, it is actually incredibly well done. And one of the reasons why is simply because the cast of this film is so good. They play this film to the exact level of crazy that it should be. It's got Sam Rockwell in there who's playing the bumbling idiot friend to Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell plays the screenplay writer he's the neutral. Colin Farrell is the neutral. He is the one who is not crazy. He's something of an alcoholic, but that's it. And a lot of people have kind of criticized Colin Farrell because he does not have the personality that the other actors in this film do, but he has to be the neutral in this. Because he's a neutral, he makes all the other characters so much more fun and so much more enjoyable. Like Sam Rockwell, as I said, he plays his bumbling friend, who is just a moron, but a good-intentioned moron. But as the film goes, you start to learn that, there's a reason he's in the film called Seven Psychopaths. He's a bit, he's not quite right. He's not quite right because his business is dog napping. Like, literally, he runs a business stealing dogs stealing dogs from people. Then he waits with them until the owners put up a missing dog will pay a reward sign. Then his buddy Christopher Walken, also playing, he's not playing an exaggerated form of Christopher Walken, but it's like Christopher Walken one step to the left. Like, anytime you've seen Christopher Walken try to play himself crazy, it's a different version of that. Christopher Walken takes the dog back, accepts the reward money. That's how it works out for them. But one of these days, they steal a dog from Woody Harrelson, who is a big-time mob boss. And Woody Harrelson also playing incredibly exaggerated performance. I mean, Woody Harrelson, it got to a point in which I was just laughing at him every time he appeared on screen, because he's just mean-mugging the entire film away. He is just frowning so hard. Like, his face had to hurt whenever he was on camera. Like, his entire face formed like a weird triangular shape. He's frowning so much. Like, his gravity is sagging it down. And, I mean, it's to the point where which you might find it just irritating at first, but it becomes so funny. And that's kind of how the comedy in this film works. It's that it's like being slightly tickled by somebody very slowly throughout the course of an entire movie. Because it starts off and you'll like, that was funny. And then like half an hour later, they'll do a similar kind of joke and you'll go, okay, that was pretty good. And then by the end of the film, it just keeps building. It snowballs. The comedy in this film snowballs until it gets to the end. And you're just laughing hysterically at everything, even just little things, because it has just very slowly tweaked you to get to that point. But I don't want everybody to think it's just comedy. Because there's some really emotional scenes in there. Christopher Walken, he has a wife who's dying of breast cancer. So, I mean, there's very emotional scenes that come from that. And then there are moments, like I said, there are moments where what you see in the story, within the story, take part on where stuff taking place on the second plane of the story suddenly appear in the first plane of the story, and it makes you go, oh shit, I did not, you don't see it coming. It's done very well like that. And then there are just little tiny touches in there that have nothing to do with anything. There's a moment in here, a great moment, in which, this gives you an idea of Sam Rockwell's character. He wants to help his buddy Colin Farrell write this film about psychopaths, so he puts an ad in the paper calling for all psychopaths with interesting stories to come and call him. And so Tom Waits makes a brief cameo in this, like he's on the movie poster, that's how good his moment is that he's in there and he just tells a story about his long-lost love who went around with him murdering other psychopaths, just going Dexter on their ass. And he's only in for that little bit, but it's so charming, and it never really comes back. Well, it comes back a little bit, but I won't spoil how. But yeah, so it's just little tiny moments like that, it's just little tiny moments of charm combined with a snowballing comedy effect that really makes this film great, combined with the fact that everybody in this film, they're all playing cartoon characters, but they sell it, and it makes it work. I do have a few complaints with it, though, in that, as I said, I've never seen this film. I've only seen this type of a movie work in this film and adaptation. But even though it works in this film, there are moments where the meta levelness of it didn't really get to me. I mean, like there are like no female characters in this movie, and there's a moment where Christopher Walken is reading Colin Farrell's script and he says, "Yeah, you can't write female characters for shit." And I was like, you probably shouldn't have pointed that out, because it does make me realize, oh yeah, shit, you really couldn't write the female characters. Like if you look at the movie poster, there's 2 female characters on the front of that movie poster. They are literally in the movie for 1 scene each, and they have no importance to the film at all. I feel so bad for Gabourey Sidibe, because Gabourey Sidibe, Academy-nominated actress Gabourey Sidibe, is in this movie just as much as the skinny Russian twig girl on the movie poster. Plays just as much of an importance. Does Gabourey Sidibe get on the movie poster? No! But, we'll let that go. But yeah, so ignoring a few little problems. Yeah, it was just a few little problems. And also, it's one of those movies in which I can't really recommend totally to everybody, because there are people who are going to absolutely love this movie, and then there are some people who, like I said, I very rarely see a type of film like this work, and I know there's a couple of people who just aren't going to jive with it. There are just a couple of people who it just won't hit the marks for them like it did for me. So it's not a film that appeals to everyone. But for me personally, I give this film an A-. So, yeah, make sure to go out and see Seven Psychopaths. It needs the money. I saw its box office return.
I like it. It's got layers.
An eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind.
No, it doesn't. There'll be one guy left with one eye. How's the last blind guy gonna take out the eye of the last guy left?